a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host for the day, Alex BlackBelt with Lima with BlackBelt Fitness and Martial Arts, filling in for your consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You know what we do here on the show? We bring you Bay Area experts in all categories. We've got yachting, we got self-defense, we have, what do we got? We have the automotive industry. We have finance expert Mark Hay coming up later. We just got a great show lineup per the usual. But before we get started, we'd like to, showcase some of the properties available from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams. This is how Brandon and Lindsay help you sell your home faster and make more money by advertising it on the air and on TV and stuff with us. First property I would like to highlight for you is 37351 Neighbors Path. 37351 Neighbors Path. This is in Zephyr Hills, Florida, Pasco County. It's a 3,488 square foot home, open concept floor plan, 6 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. It's got a mother-in-law suite, large yard. It's on 1.2 acres and it has stone counters. That mother-in-law suite for me would be quickly converted into a home gym. But mother-in-law suites are awesome. You got to keep them around, right? Take care of those for the future. So we got Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachting in the building, back again. What's up, man? How you been?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
It's always good to be back talking yachts and boats and everything that's going on in the market.
Yeah.
And getting back from Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. It's been a good week, and yeah, it's been good.
So what's up with that for our listeners that don't know? So explain kind of like how it's similar to the home show. What's the boat show in Fort Lauderdale typically like? What's the scene?
It's like the Super Bowl for boats. It's just It's absolutely amazing. We there's thousands and thousands of people show up. And there's hundreds and hundreds of boats that are on display, and we kind of do. There's the manufacturers, like you got Princess and Beneteau and Skipper Boat. There's a lot of these big manufacturers that come to market with their new models and all the new technology, and they kind of use it as a way to display it off, and that's one of the best ways to do it. And there's so many different areas within Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, which we also call FLIBS. So if I say FLIBS, that's where we're kind of referencing to. But yeah, so FLIBS is you got the whole water area, so you got everything in the water about all the boats that are for sale, new stuff that's coming to market or it's ready to be ordered. We got broker docks. Kind of what we do is Denison has an entire setup. We had 20 plus boats in the water.
Yeah.
So you can kind of walk them. They're for sale, ready to go. And then they had a convention center too. Convention centers, center consoles, a lot of more technology, things that are coming out for fishing, things like that they'll have within those areas. And then you got the Super Yacht Village, which is a whole nother level.
That's where the big boys are.
Oh, yeah. They're all sitting out there. It's just a great show. So we just had it last week. We're back from it. And it gives us a really good snapshot of really what's going on in the boating market and where the economy, it's a good sign of the economy, too, because, it's expendable. Purchasing is in the boating market. This is more of a pleasure item. It's never a need. Definitely boating is a want.
Sure.
So it really kind of gives you a snapshot of really what's going on. So, yeah.
So how much of that show is hands-on? Like if you're there, how much stuff do you actually get to play with? Like when you go and see the consoles and stuff like that? Or is it all just kind of from a distance, kind of museum-like where you're just, just peeking at what the new stuff is?
Oh, no, you can walk it. And you can actually get on them, explore them. Yeah. You do a little bit of, turning things on and flipping, the convertibles, the big convertible tops that go up on the boats that open up. And you get to test the stuff like that. Can't do any engines. Have some of the manufacturers out there firing up the Mercuries. But it just gives you a good way to interact with the products, too, because most buyers are coming out to figure out what they want. They don't even know what they want. So you have a lot of people that come to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. They've moved to Florida. We've talked this a few times. Right? They come down there. They want to, I want to get into boating. That's one of the shows are one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah,
and it gives you an idea of like really what's out there. You can kind of find what you like. You can hit it all in one day. And I've had some clients come in. They're like, that was one of the best experiences I ever had.
Yeah.
Because what we accomplished in one day, walking boats and yachts, it would have taken me like a month by the time I drove around, really figure out what was out there.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, so it's a really good way to, especially if you're in the market. These shows are like I think it's just top of the list to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be a good introduction to the culture as well, like meeting all the the people that go to the fishing charters and everything. Like you make these connections, join these clubs. Because I know like the Corvette clubs and stuff like that. Volkswagen clubs. All these boys like to hang out and talk about their boats and go fishing and set up these big adventures together.
Oh yeah, it's got its vibes and its cultures and things like within it. You get everything from, I don't know if you know much about Ranger tugs. There's up in Seattle, you get the Ranger tugs, and Ranger tugs are just a specific type of cruiser cabin that they're real small, but everybody decks them out. And then you get the the fishermen, you get those guys that are all the Vikings and some of the Hatteresses. That's a whole nother level there.
Yeah.
So you get to experience all of it, but you also get to meet a lot of the product vendors. You got to meet guys that are engineers. They've worked on them, built these things. They're just, the knowledge is just beyond. And it's just really a great experience all around. So that's why the shows are the best to go.
And it's all there in one place. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet. Pretty cool. But it gives a good snapshot of the market, what's going on. And there's been talks is this really a buyer's market? And it is. There are some segments we're starting to see in the economy that fluctuate on how boaters perceive the market, especially the buyers. Is this a good time to buy? Is it not a good time to buy? Is it the season? And this is the season kickoff for down here, technically. Hurricane season's over. A lot of people are coming down here from the winter, from the north. You still have some snowbirds coming down besides all those that are moving here. And this really kind of gives us a snapshot that there is a market still there. There was a lot of buyers there. A lot of people are entertaining new ideas of, ordering the new vessels that are coming to market. It is 100% still kicking in the boating segment.
Yeah.
And the high interest rates, we don't really see it affect us that much because we are almost, there's a lot of people that finance, and, we're around 8% we're seeing on some loans that customers are getting, but 1 out of 10 are using cash. I'm sorry, one out of 10 are doing financing. Right. 9 out of 10 are using cash. So it hasn't really affected that much. It just comes down to is how many boats are in the market. Because, after the COVID pandemic situation, there's just been a lot of boats in the market because a lot were ordered and a lot new started to come in, and now there's a little bit of a surplus. So it puts it in the best interest of a buyer to go, look, maybe this is a good time to buy because we got a lot of options to look at. So
yeah, to be I'll tell you what, if there's a Black Friday sale on those, I might have to jump on one. Because speaking like pandemics, I mean, there's no better way to quarantine. Get the heck away from land. End of days, conspiracy type stuff. Get on that boat, get out of here.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those coming down too. They're like, I need a boat now. I just want to get down to BVI, the BVI, and get out of here and go to the Bahamas. And we do get a little bit of that. And but that's okay. Everybody has their certain ways to use their boats and why they're buying it and where they need to go with it. But this is the time to buy. If there's a good, it is the market, it is the season. If you're looking to buy, get into it now. There's no blood in the water. I mean, sellers are holding steady on the right pricing, but you can get some good discounts right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. That's the key, is that, 2-3 years ago, there wasn't much to choose from. You were kind of like, well, this is all I'm going to get if I want a boat now. Now you have like 2 or 3 vessels you can go look at and really make the qualified decision that most boaters want. What am I getting into? And then is this boat in good condition? And this is really what I want. This is what makes it a great buyer's market.
Yeah, and I also imagine there's plenty of supply as well, just because pre-COVID there was all these things that shops weren't open, people couldn't go around, so I mean all the supplies were just there was stuff that was just sitting there, pre-orders, maybe they got canceled or something, and then the used boat market as well, people selling off to try to make some money back from losses or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and there were so many deals with new vessels that we had a lot of buyers coming in just ordering new, and they were ordering so many new you couldn't get them. So they'd have to wait somewhere we wait a year, 2 years to even get hold of their boat. Because they're built to spec,
because they got to build them out.
Yeah, so then they started to go into the used market, and the used market just kind of cleaned up, and there wasn't much available, so that drove prices up. So now they're getting back into the 2019 price levels. We're kind of starting to see it level off, which is good. That's what you want. You want to get a good value for your vessel. There's some individuals trying to get out of them, which is understandable. They got into in 2020, bought a boat, and they're like, "What did I do? What did I get myself into?"
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that, and it's understandable with any market. But that puts it into the buyer's favor. However, I think it's just in the end is that there are good deals now. If you're going to buy a boat, do it now. You got a good season ahead. We got great options in the market, but there's multiple options to look at, so you find the right boat.
So really you're saying that like around the 8%, is that do you guys have in-house financing, or that's people coming to you with their banks, with their pre-approved, or just combination of?
Combination of. Yeah. Dennison has done a really great job of just having a lot of internal resources. We have our business management team where we can look at insurance options and marine financing options, but we kind of work like brokers too. That segment does. There's an individual that's in that department, and they reach out to the local banks to try to find out the best deals for consumers. Yeah,
nice. So that was man, that's awesome. So that Florida, was a Fort Lauderdale boat show, and then there's another one coming up as well. Correct?
Oh yeah, we got a big one coming up here, and this is the local one. We got the St. Pete boat show, downtown St. Pete, and it goes from January 18th to the 21st. So we're getting ready for that. And here at Denison, we're expecting to have a really great display there this year. But that's going to be the boat show locally. That if you're new to Tampa and you're new to St. Pete, come on out for it. We're going to start talking more about it, doing some promotion on it. We're going to be doing some ticket giveaways as we get closer. Really want to get some people out to the show. that has a great opportunity to really see what's in the market that's best for Tampa Bay, because you'll start to see boats that are best for usage in the intercoastals, going down to Gulf, even boats that are great going down to the Dry Tortugas, Key West.
Sure.
That is the show to go to and visit. So come on out for that. We'll talk more about that as we get closer.
Yeah, nice, man. What was the date on that one again?
We got January 18th to January 21st.
Okay, yeah. The
coming up.
weather will be nice and cool out. Not this not the Florida humidity getting on you while you're out there walking around. That's good stuff. And downtown St. Pete's always a good time. Good food and stuff out there.
Everything that's going on down there now, it's really a great time to come on down there. Yeah. So no, that's kind of what we're running into now, is between the markets and shows. We got some good stuff. It's funny, before you kind of segmented in all this, we talked about this. You were talking about the Florida rooms. It's really interesting, the terminology. I don't know if we want to talk about terminology in the boating industry.
Why not? We got to educate our listeners.
It's really interesting. And Brandon Ryan's, he's usually here kind of kicking off the shows, and it's kind of interesting. We were talking about last week at Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. We were kind of talking about how the terminology and verbiage from homes to boats would be. Because we talk about salons, but he's like, wasn't that a family room? We're like, oh yeah, this is the galley. Wait, hold on, it's a kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Called head and a bathroom. So it was kind of fun going back and forth and bantering on the different terminology with it. So you say Florida room, and I'm like, that's from Chicago. I think we said like front room. That's what we would say.
Nice.
Up north. So the front room is the first room you walked into, is the front of the house. I don't know if you heard that.
You call it a soda, or you call it a pop?
Pop.
Man.
Yeah, we say pop.
There you go. I knew it. I knew there was something. I knew there was something about you. I didn't know what it was.
Well, you go to Chicago, it's vacuuming, and you go to Indiana, they call it sweeping. You're like, what are we sweeping over?
Oh, man, that's crazy. I've always been kind of partial to. I love all boats. I've loved it. I don't know if it's part of my DNA from being Cuban. My family swam over here, But no, we came on a airplane. The boat's name was Airplane.
No, was it really?
No, I'm just kidding. No, but I can joke like that because I am Cuban, ladies and gentlemen. So, but I've always been kind of partial to the catamarans. I find them so beautiful. And as far as like boats explain, maybe you educate me a little bit on this, because my understanding is like obviously, like when we're talking about like a super yacht, it's like butter in the ocean. You won't feel nothing, It would have to be real choppy waters for you to be like, I'm uncomfortable on this thing, But catamarans, the way that they balance out is like, as far as like a boat that you could actually like live on or maybe spend some time on, like they're a great way to go as well. Yeah,
they're super popular right now, and they are more stable overall.
Okay.
With monohulls, you got one hull that goes in the water, and depending on how it's designed, some are wider, and the wider they go, sometimes they call them trawlers. It's just how they're cut, displacement, all that comes into weight displacement, things like that. And sometimes they have stabilizers on them, so those monohulls will have stabilizers to keep them stable. Sometimes they're done through gyro systems. They're high spinning gyro internally in the boat, which is usually
that would be the equivalent of like having the springs on the suspension on the car, that it just it's always compensating as you're moving.
Yeah, and they make huge differences. But then going into catamarans, as you're talking about, you have now two hulls, so you got a little bit more of weight displacement, right? And it's a little bit wider.
Right.
Yeah, and in some cases, it is more stable. And that's why essentially I think more families and more individuals that are not really huge boaters and they wanted to have more live aboard or longer distances,
they don't want to fight with it as much as they're as they're going through navigating the seas and stuff.
Yeah, and you get more room out of them too, because with two hulls they could spread them. So you see like up to 26-foot beams all the way up to. We've got a couple there for sale, like 36, 40-foot beams. They're massive. They're almost like apartments, floating apartments.
Yeah, that's kind of how I visualize it and see it. I've watched some YouTube videos and stuff on them going through. I've never ridden one. I've always just seen them. Like I said, I've been on some CVs and stuff and some pretty big yachts and cruises and stuff as well. But catamarans have always been intriguing to me because it's like a floating like apartment. It's pretty wild.
It is, and they're getting. The luxury aspect of it is really kicking in. And a lot of the sail catamarans back in like 2000 to 2010, 2011, they were really designed still for sailing. They were more performance and speed and sailing over luxury and comfort. They were still well designed, but now you're starting to see a flip where there's the performance aspect is always there, but they're focused very upon the luxury aspect,
comfort,
family comfort.
But they will still ride out. They're still plenty fast.
Oh yeah. And you could get them up there. Depending on the size, some will range between 8 to 12 knots. If you really push them on good sails or a good knot, you could essentially, depending on weight, you can get up to 15
on a good day.
Yeah, on a good day. Yeah. But most of them use them to kind of putt around, and that gets into like trawlers. Trawlers are really really hot right now because they are a wider boat. They have really good power on them, but they go slower. So it's a little bit more of putting around. I'm going to go to the Bahamas and I'm going to be down there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
They're more inclined to have a trawler do that too. So there's it's interesting that you mentioned there's just different ways people use vessels or why they buy them, what they're looking for. There's so many different options. Just kind of finding what's right for you.
Absolutely. You got to find what's right for you. You got to find what's appropriate for your area. You could be like, I want the biggest, craziest boat I got. Yeah, but it doesn't really work in this area that you live in. It just depends.
Right.
You have to, and kind of got to talk them off the ledge a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Because in the end, as being the broker for it, you want to tell them there's something going to be happy with.
Yeah.
They don't want to buy this. Man, you should have told me I can't really, drive this around Tampa Bay. And it's like, well, hey, buddy, you say it's what you wanted. I didn't want to argue with you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, just like real estate, there's a little bit of like, what are you looking for your family? How many rooms do you want? How big the kitchen? You want outside pool? I mean, it kind of runs into the same aspect that what do you want? What are you doing with it? Can we then start to hone in what your really expectations are? Because you have a thought in your mind of like, what am I going to do with this boat?
For sure.
Right? Am I a technology guy? Am I a weekend warrior type individual? Are we just going to the beaches? We're going to John's Pass, throwing out an ankle and jumping off the boat. So you got to find out really what you want to do. And that leads you into types of boats that you could do, sizes, around here it's more outboards.
Yeah.
But you can't, obviously, you could get a 78-foot Princess. You really can't go too many parts of the intercoastal with it.
That's what you want. We can sell it to you. But, in the end, you want them to be happy and comfortable with their purchase, and we want you to utilize it. And take into consideration to the amount of maintenance that may go into something like that. So,
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's so many factors.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, more with Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachting here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't touch that dial. ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host for the day, Alex Lima, filling in for Brandon Rhymes. We got Michael Johnson with Dennison Yachting here in studio, and we're going to get back to him in just a second. He's going to tell us about some new stuff dropping in the Bay Area. But before we do, we'd like to highlight just one property available here from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams. We have 9749 Little Blue Stem Drive in Lando Lakes, Florida. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. It's 2,334 square feet of living space. You got a 2-story home in the coveted Connerton community. The kitchen boasts a spacious island, ample counter space with abundant cabinets and a walk-in pantry. Owner's suite features an en-suite with dual vanities, a soaking tub, and a separate walk-in shower. Large backyard with a sheltered rear porch enclosed by a privacy fence. And the community offers dual pools. One of them is a lap pool, so you can get your swim on back and forth like Michael Phelps, with a splash park, miles of trails, and an on-site elementary school. Check out that property and all the others at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. So back in studio here with Michael Johnson. So Michael, tell me about what are those boats? The ones that are kind of like the military-esque type ones that they got like kind of you see the Coast Guard right out in it, and it's got the rubber, like it looks almost like rubber on the outside. What is that?
Oh, rib boats.
Okay.
Yeah, those rib boats. Those are getting popular.
Okay. Now, what is that actual material on the outside?
It's a tubing. There's some of them are kind of a military-grade tubing that they use.
Extremely durable. Right.
Extremely durable. They actually use some coating technology now because they're typically black.
Yes.
So they'll use a coating technology where they actually reduce heat on them, but they're like really light. You could sit. What's great is about rib boats. You can sit all the way around them.
Okay.
That's one. And two is, if you're not really good at docking,
Yeah.
this is the boat.
It
This is the boat
could
for
take
you.
a bump or two as you're getting.
No, yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
You can bump in all kinds of little stuff,
Yeah.
and with the concerns of still what's around you, but you're not going to get as much damage. They're actually really light, so because you're removing all that top bulkhead part. I'm sorry, the gunnel is becoming more of a that air-filled tube, so
Yeah.
you're actually losing some of the weight off of it. So they sit more. They're a little bit more aerodynamic. And they're actually, they kind of say some of the manufacturers out there say they're kind of like unsinkable because they're really just tubes. So if you get water intrusion, it just kind of just goes down and sits. It doesn't actually sink the entire boat.
Yeah.
And they're sectioned out too, which is kind of unique. So if you really stuck a knife in one of them, it doesn't set off the whole the whole entire tubing system.
So it's not like a balloon just.
Yeah, it's just one little section. But they're really, they're just a unique technology. It's been around for a long time. That militaries use them or military designs. But now they're starting to get kind of hot. You're starting to see them on super yachts as their tenders.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see them there. But now there's a company called Skipper Powerboats.
Okay.
They're killing it. They're really coming to market with some great vessel options everywhere from a 34-footer, 38-footer, which is great for Tampa Bay, all outboards. You can get them all the way up to 42.
And where are they based out of? You said Skipper Powerboats?
They're actually, Skipper is made out of Greece. It's a Greek boat, and then they ship them into Miami, and then we kind of disperse them there, and we have them now here in Tampa. There's a 34-footer and 38-footer is the best. Now, these things are fast. You can get some good Mercury engines off the back. Some of them will do up to 70 to 100 miles an hour.
That's
so they
impressive.
they are very quick.
Yeah.
And they're well designed. They got nice teak in them, really nice lighting in them. Their dashes are actually built out like a luxury car. All carbon fiber, huge touch screens. They got little things like your cup holders. They got heaters and coolers in them. Like they've just figured out a lot of little stuff that why people use boats the way they do, especially for entertaining guests. Big sun pads, big tables, big seating.
Yeah,
They're
and let's
great
face it,
boats.
you own something like that, you want to show off. You're showing off a little bit, so you want to be like, "Come here, buddy, check this out. You got, look what this thing can do here." And you show that carbon fiber center console and all the little buttons and switches and stuff.
It's got a little flash to it.
You're gonna flex a little bit. It's okay. That's why we do it. That's why you work hard, you spend your money, then that's why you purchase luxury.
Yeah, and they're
you
super
wanna enjoy
unique.
it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you pull up a gas station with a really nice little antique car. Everybody kind of turns around, a nice Ferrari. Everybody's like, nice car.
Yeah, you didn't drive that saying, "I hope nobody asked me about my car today." You want somebody to be like, "Yeah, man, it's a '69 actually." You want to talk to them about it.
Right. And if you're looking for a nice, you want a center console, but you want something that stands out a little bit, this is the boat for you. Skipper Boats.
Mike Johnson, thank you so much, man. Real quick, how do people get a hold of you?
Anytime, Mike M. Johnson at DennisonYachting.com. I'm always available. Buy, sell, or rent a yacht here in Tampa Bay. I got you covered. Or you can reach out to me direct, 312-890-6385.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. Coming up next, we got Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial. Don't touch that dial. You want to hear what he has to say. Stay with us, consumerqb.com.